Hi, I'm Dr. George Yancey. Let's shatter some paradigms. And the paradigm I want to share today concerns identity politics or collaborative conversation. Now, you might well know that I have a playlist on identity politics and on dealing with racial issues in which I talk about collaborative conversation. And so I want to talk about identity politics or collaborative conversation because oftentimes what people are using is identity politics to try to get what they want. And what I want to try to do is make the argument that that's not the best way, that collaborative conversation is a better way for us to do that. Why is that? Well, in identity politics, the focus is on the oppressed and the oppressor, right? And it's politics based on defeating the oppressor. And what that leads to is demonizing the oppressor. When you think about what's the image of an oppressor, think about that. You can think about a husband who's being a wife, or a boss who's overworking their workers, or a tyrant who is harassing his or her subjects. Not someone we want to really help out. And it's really easy to demonize such people. Well, the problem with that is if you're in that role, if you are in a position where people can call you an oppressor, you have no incentive to work with people who demonize you in that way. The nature of identity politics creates confrontation. You're not going to convert people over to you in any great numbers if you keep demonizing them. So they're going to be left, and you have to defeat them. You have to battle them. And even if you win, at least in the short term, what tends to happen is they're around. And they will keep fighting at you till they get a shot at beating you some more. I think our last presidential election sort of saw that. If you remember, in 2020, anti-racism, DEI was all the rage. Well, the people who didn't like it, who felt that they were being called oppressors, hung around. The last presidential election, they won. And now they are engaged in what I would call demonizing of people that want to promote anti-racism or DEI or things of this nature. That's the way it works. Identity politics creates conflict after conflict after conflict. I wonder if it can actually win. Totally. As long as people hang around to fight it. So identity politics will not bring lasting solutions, I believe. They'll bring temporary solutions, and then you have to hold on to them with power. Using all your power to hold on to them. And you must keep who you define as an oppressor crushed down. I don't think that's the best way to go about it. Lasting solutions, to be sustainable, require cooperation from everyone. And if identity politics can't get there, how can you get there? Well, you have to consider the needs of everyone. And to do that, you have to engage in collaborative conversation. Identity politics, do you want to consider the needs of an abusive husband, of an employer who exploits his or her workers, of a tyrant? Of course not. You don't want to consider their needs because you've imaged them into this demon. But people we call oppressors, they're not demons. They're image bearers. And what they may be doing may be wrong. But we want to bring them along to help solve the problem, and they can have legitimate needs as well. Collaborative conversation, done correctly, can help us to find solutions that meet their needs as well as the needs of everyone else. Now, I'm not going to go all into collaborative conversation, how to do it correctly. I have videos on that, and I would invite you to go and look them up. Go to my race relations playlist and you'll see videos on collaborative conversation. But the core collaborative conversation is that we build on each other's ideas to find solutions so we can move on. If we do that, we don't have the bandwidth then to demonize the other person because we know it's not productive in a collaborative conversation setting. So collaborative conversation by its very nature moves us away from solutions where we concentrate on just what we want or our friends want to solutions that serve everybody. Those solutions are sustainable. Because if I have skin in the game, I want to make that solution work. But if you've been calling me an oppressor and saying I have to be defeated and to end whatever I am, then I'm going to sabotage your solutions. Identity politics invites confrontation. Collaborative conversation invites community, invites cooperation. I think for us, as a society move on, we can't be as polarized as we are. This polarization is not good. I worry for my young boys. In what sort of society are they growing up in? And rather than polarization, I want us to learn how to cooperate. This is the way of collaborative conversation. If you are someone who was engaged in identity politics, be on the left or the right, I challenge you to think, what's the end game? Totally defeat your opponents, crush them to the dust so they can rise no more? Is that really where you want to go? Or do you want to learn how to bring them along? How to find solutions that help you and help them? That they help you and you help them. As a Christian, which direction do you think Christ would want us to go? Would he want us to go and rely on our own instinct for the best solution and not listen to others? To ignore the human depravity that's in my heart, your heart, everyone's heart? Or would he want us to learn how to work together, to find solutions, to overcome our own blind spots, and to build community instead of polarization? Does this shatter some paradigms? Paradigms about identity politics, a way of achieving what we want that may not be the best, that there may be better ways, perhaps harder ways in certain situations. It's hard to think about the responsibilities of ourselves and the rights of others and their needs. If it does, I hope we think about it. I'm trying to build a community where we talk about these issues. And if these issues you're interested in, please consider subscribing and commenting. If you disagree with me, comment. That's fine too. So, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you'll come back. We can shatter some more paradigms.